Hello everyone. Today we've got a Q&A. It's been a minute since I did a video. I've been ill, I've been in prep. Currently, oh look at that face. Currently I'm 50 days out, oh my god. And yes, this is a spoon. I quite enjoy holding a mic, it's what I've realised recently. So I've clipped my mic onto a spoon. And today you're going to see some recent training clips, and we're also going to run through a Q&A that I held on Instagram. I've got the questions up on my PC over to the left over here. This is my office space. Hopefully you guys like it. It's got quite a kind of wooden tree aesthetic, and you're also sat on the standing desk, which, fun fact, I have a treadmill that I attach to. And I also, for anyone who does some PC gaming, I have Joy-Cons, although I guess you could also use a Switch. I have Joy-Cons, and I connect these to my PC, and I play 3DS games. And I put my hands in my pockets, and I walk here for multiple hours of the day. Anyway, that's if I don't have work to do. Don't worry, I get my work done. So, how did I get started into coaching? Question one. I got started in coaching I started the gym when I was around 16 years old, I believe. Maybe a little bit younger, I forget. And I did it because my school was they had this thing where during sixth form you can kind of decide whether you wanted to do like PE stuff on site, which I wasn't the sportiest guy. There we go, that might be a little bit better. So I didn't want to do that. So instead you can do off-site PE and you can go to the gym. And my mates went to the gym, so I thought, fuck it, I'll go to the gym. I started getting really into it. I really enjoyed it, obviously. And kind of off the back of that, I decided that I wanted to know more, and then I started to teach myself more. I had mates who did A-level PE. At the time I wasn't doing anything educational there, and so I started to teach myself stuff, and I started to kind of share that wisdom with people, and that was kind of the unofficial start of my coaching. I actually started coaching when I pivoted towards coaching itself in my degree. So I moved away from doing computer science, which is what I did at the time, and I started learning coaching. I did sports fitness and coaching. That's my degree. That's my BSc. That's the second question. That's my degree, which was kind of split down the middle of one half was sports science, anatomy, physiology, biology, kind of like the theoretical stuff, and the other half was more application-y. It was more sports psychology. How do we get people to do what we want? How do we work with people? How do we understand people? And that course set me up hugely. And at the time I was over in Aberystwyth. So yeah, that was kind of how I got started into coaching, was when I first started my degree. And then a little bit unofficially with kind of when I started the gym. Why did I hire Matt and Camille? So, for those that don't know, there's two co-coaches who I work with. I work with Camille, Archer Academy, shout out. Camille is, he was the first one that I brought on, and it was for many, many reasons. Incredibly talented athlete, pure passion for bodybuilding. We were going for a photo shoot prep, and I just saw it ignite that passion even more. His background is osteopathy, so he's a master's in osteopathy, and that's something that I don't have. And that is something that, I don't have time to do, and he has far more passion and far more knowledge than I will probably ever have for that. And so I wanted someone that I could kind of refer to and refer clients to, so that they could get their rehab needs sorted, so I could bulletproof my team. And he was someone who I was incredibly close with. I still am. And I don't know why I'm talking in the past tense. I guess 'cause I'm talking about when I first brought him on. And for those reasons, I was like, I want to work with this guy. And then Matty was someone who was showing incredible promise and still shows incredible promise, breaking into coaching. Again, someone who I just knew that if I opened up the business, not only could I trust them with my business and my life, but I could also trust them. I also knew that they were someone who was going to put in as much or even more effort than I was. And Matty in particular has an absolute passion for working with more lifestyle people. And as I pushed more and more into bodybuilding and kind of teaching coaches, I found that my time for lifestyle wavered, and my interest in lifestyle kind of wavered. And when I mean lifestyle, I don't just mean non-competitive. I mean like, Susan, who's 50, who just wants to get in better shape. And Matty offered something that, again, he could do to a far better degree than myself. And so both of them were people where I knew not only were they going to go far, so it was a given that they would succeed, but they were people that I wanted to routinely talk to, I wanted in my life, I wanted in my circle, and I wanted even more so selfishly to keep them around for longer. And they were also people who I knew offered something that I didn't. I could, hand on heart, get an inquiry and say to them, you are better off with Camille, or you are better off with Matty than you will ever be with me. And that's why I wanted them. Unconventional foods that I hate. Cucumber. I hate cucumber. Not a fan. Eggs come and go, but I don't know how unconventional that is. I'm not sure if that counts. That might be a little bit too... God, I look very thin in this top. I'm fading away, guys. Eggs kind of come and go. At the minute, I'm not the keenest on dark chocolate. My hunger's not that high. So dark chocolate, it's not tasting too yummy. And God, I can't think. Smoked salmon. Not a fan of smoked salmon. Much prefer salmon. I'll eat smoked salmon. I much prefer salmon. Why are you called the Archer Academy? Good question. Because the business is actually split in two. One half is the coaching, other half is education. So I obviously coach people, as you guys know, right? It's kind of my whole thing. But I also coach coaches, and I make them better at coaching while doing so. So the idea is I enhance their physique or their strength, or kind of get them to look a little bit better, which gets more eyes on them. And then meanwhile, in the background, we learn about more advanced topics, whether that be anatomy, physiology, nutrition, whether that be working with Camille and learning about rehab, working with Matty and learning about lifestyle clients and psychology, or even just, more knowledge about like PEDs and injury science, etc. Favorite body part to train? Wow, there is no correlate. You guys have no correlation between your questions at all. This is incredibly disorganized. My favorite body part to train is maybe chest, because I'm a decent presser when my shoulders are feeling good, or quads. I feel like quads, just no matter what, you can always get up for it. What are some useful tips for a beginner bodybuilder? I think I would say let me tick off some of these questions while we're doing them. I would say find what you enjoy and what works. Bodybuilding is the beautiful alignment of progression and enjoyment. And if you're only able to stick to a process because the outcome is worth it, you're going to struggle long term. Because I currently am not doing anything that I wouldn't want to do. Everything I do, the food I eat, the steps I do, the cardio I do, I want to do all of it. Now, it might be that I'm meh about it, or on the day, it might feel a bit like, whatever. But long term, big picture, these are things that I want to do. And it's not just because I don't do the cardio and the steps because I want to get leaner. I do them because I like feeling active. I follow the food because it's foods that I enjoy. It's just to a quantity that's set for me. Training, I enjoy the training. Sometimes I don't always love it, but again, like especially in prep, but again, it's all stuff that I want to do. It's not stuff that I would veer away from. So again, I would say find what you enjoy within the scope of what works. As you get further along, you can push more towards doing things that do benefit you that maybe you don't enjoy. But when people try and force themselves to adhere to something that they don't truly love, that's where you run into issues. How high should my protein be? Great question. Normally I run on a training day 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of total body weight, or on a rest day 1 gram to 1.3 gram per pound. It depends on how many carbohydrates you have present, because the higher your carbs, technically the lower your protein needs. It depends on your digestion and your protein sources. If there's lots of incomplete sources, I would tend to err on the side of caution. If you have lots of complete sources, then I would err less on the side of caution. If digestion and appetite are okay, cool, run them a bit higher. If those aren't okay, I'd pull it down a little bit. Ultimately, it comes down to a lot of probably personal circumstances. So whoever asked this question, because I didn't write that down, I probably should find out. Send me a little message and I'll just give you a free little audit on your nutrition. Okay. Is one set enough for growth? And kind of next question, actually, we'll kind of roll these into one, is 5 reps best? Now, enough for growth is a good question, and best is an interesting phrase. Is 5 reps best? No. Are there benefits to 5 reps? Yeah. Are there benefits to other reps? Yeah. 5 to 30, you're going to grow muscle fairly equally. Up to 30 reps, you're probably going to incur more fatigue compared to 5. The downside of 5 reps is you may find that loading gets extraordinarily high and progresses extraordinarily quickly. And you might find that that then taxes your joints because you find it hard to sustain similar form while adding load. Maybe, maybe not. You might find that on some movements, doing a 5 rep max is just generally quite challenging, right? Isolation movements, for example. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. 5 reps is an option. I like a variety of rep ranges. As I tend to diet people and glycogen gets lower, I tend to run reps lower. As people get more glycogen, I tend to run reps a little bit higher. So in a growth phase, I tend to play a bit more with more moderate to even higher rep ranges. Particularly, say, let's take an example of like a 20 repper on like a leg press. If you're able to make that good quality, and that's a really important caveat, is the person needs to be able to make it good quality. If not, we're not going to do it. But if they can make it good quality and they can sustain that, then 100%, let's fucking do it, right? It's great from a cardiovascular output as well. And if you're able to progress that, it makes, you know, doing these 8 to 10 reppers on like a hack or something feel significantly easier, okay? Yeah, so 5 reps best, no, it's just a tool. All rep ranges have bonuses, they have pros and they have cons. Is 1 set enough for growth? For some people, yes. Enough for growth? Yeah, probably, like for most people. But enough to be, like, enough to incur some growth, yeah. But enough to make you satisfied with your growth? I'd say almost certainly no. Now, as you get more and more skilled, 1 set has more and more value and incurs more and more fatigue, so it makes more sense to move towards that. But again, I'd still always look at, you know, when people say, oh, all you need is 1 set per exercise, immediately my thought process is, okay, but then how many exercises are we doing and how many times per week are we doing it? Because if we're doing 3 different exercises for the quads twice a week and we do 1 set for each, we've still got 6 sets per week. That's still like a good amount, you know, that's not crazy low. That's the same as if I gave you 3 sets on a hack twice a week. Or not, well, not the same as exactly if it was on a hack, but you know what I mean? If I was giving you 3 sets twice a week, you'd be like, oh, that's, you know, it's okay. It's low, but it's not crazy low. I think it's very easy to get caught up in these ideas of, I train low volume. What does low even mean? I train high volume. What does high mean? I do 1 set per exercise. Okay, cool. But like, how many exercises are you doing? How much frequency? Again, there's a lot of nuance there. I think I would question why you want to do 1 set for growth. I would say again, if you find yourself having exercises where you can only stand to do 1 set, maybe it's like a split squat, okay, if we're going for quads, cool, do 1 set there. Then maybe just do a few more sets in some other places. Do some leg extensions, do some sissy squats, do some reverse Nordics, do some leg presses, or if that's intimidating, single leg presses. Let's try and just generally raise that magnitude of stimulus and do it in a way that feels nice, right? If you can tolerate 3 sets of leg extension and then you want to do 1 set on the hack and 1 set single leg press, cool. Maybe do that twice a week and suddenly we're at 10 sets. Fantastic. We've got 10 times the sets as, you know, perhaps you maybe would have done before. If you're going to escalate volume, go slowly. But that would be my take, is to try and incur just more total stimulus. Okay. Anyway, thank you guys for the questions. I'll aim to do more. Hopefully you've enjoyed this style of video, a bit more chill, a bit more prep-like. Apologies for this t-shirt. I didn't actually intend to make this video. I just kind of sat down and was like, fuck it, let's go through this now. But thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Links down below. As always, if you want 10% off your Conti Sports supplements and products, you can use code Archer10. If you've got any questions about any of their products, which ones I'd actually recommend and which ones I actually use, feel free to drop me a message on Instagram. My Instagram is down below. If you want to work with me for coaching or for education, that is also down below. And if you have any questions about anything that I've spoken about today, then again, you can find me on Instagram. Cheers, guys. Have a good one. Goodbye.